so I want to welcome everyone to another episode of Black Baby Moms, BBM. I'm your girl, your host, Margie, and returning to the show is somebody who's obviously not a mother, but a very special guest, and I feel like he gave his backstory, you gave your backstory in season 1, so make sure y'all run that back, listen to that episode, season 1. Welcome back, Devin.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited because I feel like this episode is so relevant to what is going on right now that maybe a lot of people can relate. So I'm just excited to dive right into these topics. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I am.
All right, so we've talked off camera before, just conversation, but I really feel like a lot of people, they just connect to this conversation about submission. I'm gonna just jump right into one of those juicy, interesting, biased topics. Controversial is the word, you're right. Yeah. That's why I love having you here. You're just a natural supporter. I just love it. But yeah, submission. And what I mean by that, is kind of like women, men, or whoever your significant other is, men and men, women, somebody I feel like in the relationship.
More dominant,
and they say women have to submit
to their man.
How do you feel?
So you know me, I go against the norms a lot of the traditional sense of gender roles and different things like that. I think in terms of submission, I think each person should submit to their partner given that person's area of strength. So for example, like if we're in a relationship or I'm in a relationship with somebody and I'm the more organized one, or I'm the more person that stays on top of whatever it could be, bills, getting kids to where they gotta go, I feel like my woman should be submissive to me in that role because I excel in that role.
Okay.
If she's better financially with managing money or whatever the case may be, I should submit to her in that role because there's no point in you submitting to me if I struggle in that area and vice versa.
Okay, so you're saying like it depends on the context of submission for each situation.
I don't think the woman should submit to the man all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Or the man shouldn't just be the one that's like super, like you better submit and answer to me.
No.
I mean, certain cultures are like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for example, no shade, but I know a lot of folks that are African. And there's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You already know. So like, if you challenge a man in the African culture, I feel like it's kind of like no, it's frowned upon. But we're American.
I just think our
I don't know.
As men, our egos are way too fragile. So I really just don't really subscribe to like the traditional. Because if you're secure in who you are and what you do as a man and what you provide, your woman will submit naturally.
I love that.
And then there's still areas where I don't think a woman should submit because there's still areas that a man needs a woman to like force us to see certain things or see our flaws.
Right.
So, but if you're submitting to us all the time to, feed our egos, it's not going to help us grow as men.
It feels like the relationship is like it's not equal or it's not like balanced.
Because most men will always challenge a woman on what she isn't doing, what she isn't bringing to the table, what she isn't satisfying for him. The minute a woman tries to challenge him on, get your shit together or whatever it could be.
Yeah.
Now we clutch our pearls, so to speak, about like, no, you can't talk to me that way. So I just don't really believe it should go. It's like 360. It should. If you can give it, you can take it, and vice versa.
I like that idea because it's not like just super traditional, which I respect. I definitely feel like I notice certain couples that the woman is like, they do whatever the man says, follows the rules. Their husband shops for them. They are not allowed to do certain things, and maybe that's just to each his own. Certain relationships that works for you.
Yeah, it works. And some women prefer that role. They excel in that. Some women don't.
I've just never been that chick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I get it. And I don't think I would want
somebody like that kind of.
I don't really like, and I don't want to say yes people. Like, I don't think that means just when you're submissive, you become a yes person. But I want somebody that pushes my buttons, that challenges me, that, you know, I know there are things that I don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
So I need somebody to be like, nope, you need to put your focus over here, or, you know, because my brain could go a million miles a minute. So
I feel like I respect that mindset, because it's like you're open, number one, to hear what your partner, your woman, your man, whatever has to say, versus just always trying to like be that, what is it, totalitarian type of authoritarian. Like, I don't know.
In the context of a relationship, I feel like there has to be, like, again, there's give and take, because we should be, I mean, hopefully, like, if you're with somebody, you plan on being with them for a very long time.
Right.
So I don't anticipate either one of us like staying the same for that duration of time.
Yeah,
so,
allow us to grow together. Like,
yeah, and roles change at different peaks. You know, I could be low, you could be high, vice versa. So, like, I don't think the submission thing is there's no rules to it. I just think it kind of just needs to be more.
You need to have understanding in your relationship.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, I believe the more respectful you are to your man, for me, like, as a female, like, y'all like that. Like, you know, don't be arguing all the time, attitude all the time. Because a man works hard, they want to come home or whatever to a peaceful home, but also at the same time, it's just like, like, I'm not an idiot, so you can't hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
So balance. I talk about it all the time. But
and it was so that there are times where you know, a woman should let a man be a man. Like, it's this. Yeah. It's a big TD Jakes thing that's going on social media. Like, where people are like dissecting it.
You better preach.
But I think it needs to be a little bit more understanding to that conversation. But you know, I don't.
What does he say? I'm sorry.
It was more so like women are growing. What is basically said, like, we're raising our women to be the man, and how women can preach about how much they don't need a man. And
there's this one song, I'm sorry, that I used to listen to all the time, and I said, I gotta stop listening to this, and it was by Young and May. I'm not lesbian at all, but it was literally, it was N-N-A-N.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Never need a nigga for nothing. And then I started realizing, like, I like the beat, I like the artist, but I actually don't agree with the words, because I be needing a man.
Yeah, we need people need people, period. So, like,
facts.
We each, whatever your preference is in partnership, like, you need another person.
Yeah,
so
you do.
Again, in there, like I said, the roles change. At times you could be more dominant. At times I would want my woman to be more dominant, or I would want to. I hate the word submit, because it makes it sound as though like you're giving up something that you don't want to give up. But I'm willing to submit to my woman in a certain role, because I might find that attractive when she's more aggressive in this area. Or when, you know, if you want a boss woman, like, I find it sexy when a woman can hold her own and run her own thing. So, like, you know, if I'm coming into her realm, I wouldn't try to take over because I'm the man. Like, nah, I need to learn from you. So, you know, it goes hand in hand to me.
I like that. You heard it here first, okay? Like, there's nothing wrong with a little balance.
No, absolutely not.
In a relationship. Okay, I'm with it. And so, speaking of relationships, you know, I'm a little off topic with moms this episode, because I feel like this has just been something I've been trickling in my conversations lately, but it's relevant because I am a single mom and I'm dating, so this is helpful to know green flags versus red flags. I feel like social media especially will be like, oh, what are all the red flags? We're talking about all the red flags in the relationship. Justin LA Boy, La Boy, whatever how you say his name on Instagram, always be throwing up these little things. Yeah. But to actually like discuss green flags, like, this is a good thing, a green light, like, this is what I want, healthy, non-toxic relationship. We don't talk about it that much.
I don't think a lot of people know what non-toxic and green flags are.
In this generation, right?
We always see red, typically.
How do you feel about, like, being open to what does a green flag look like? Okay, why do you think about that? I'm more like, okay, green flag is, oh, you know, you're listening and understanding what my love language is.
That's important.
You know?
Super important.
say my love language is like, oh, I like words of affirmation or whatever. I don't know. Some people like the actual tangible gifts, whatever the case may be. And that person's like feeding into that. And we're feeding into each other's love language. That's a green flag. That's like good sign. This is helpful.
Yeah.
What do you think? What say you?
So my love languages are
Yes.
quality touch. I mean, physical touch, excuse me, and quality time. I don't know. So it's tough for me. I think I've been doing like a little bit of soul searching. I think with green flags, most people, I feel like most of us are like in this traumatic state.
Why are we all going through this? Yeah, like post.
So like the dating feel like dating pool got pee in it. So
a whole lot of piss.
I think the problem with green flags is they're so scary because we're not accustomed to dealing with them on a consistent basis. We're so used to dealing with the red flags, the don'ts, and we don't get a lot of the do's.
Yeah, we see a lot of toxic behavior.
So I think most of us have. I'm speaking for myself. I have a hard time. I have a hard time trusting the green flags.
Do they make you nervous? Like they make me nervous. Like I kind of, for me, I get like, oh whoa, this is looking too good.
I didn't realize until I just been, like I said, soul searching lately.
I like the soul search.
I won't say make me nervous, but it's kind of like they make you check yourself. Like they make you check if you're ready. To me,
ready for
like whatever the next step could be. Like those green flags make you check. Like, okay, I'm getting all my boxes checked off, but am I really ready to submit, commit, communicate effectively, consistently?
Yes.
Make a choice to deal with that person.
Commit.
Yeah. So, and I think we all have that. Most guys, and again, we just have those different instances where we've gone through this history of whatever our dating experiences has been. Sometimes it only take one experience; it can take multiple.
Facts.
So I think those green flags I think we see them. I just think a lot of us are hesitant to
move forward with
that.
Yeah.
Because we're always looking for, and it's like you could have 18 green flags, but one red flag, and it's like, oh, nah, I'm done. I can't do it.
That's this generation. 100%.
So the green red, it's interesting, but I think you have to be open, ready, and willing to move forward to be able to recognize, appreciate, and cherish the green flags. And hopefully they outweigh some of the red, because we're all going to have red. But hopefully the red ones they're manageable and they're not as toxic.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're hitting it right on the nail because nobody's perfect. I feel like in my history has been like, oh, nobody can make a mistake. But I've looked back and I'm like, Margie, first of all, if they have a red flag, I'm sure I have some.
Yeah.
So move past some things, certain things. But the green flags, you're right. I feel like because of the past, for me, I'll be like, no, this is too good. I don't want to get hurt again. So right. That's why I say it makes you nervous. Yeah.
But I do not like that statement. I don't want to get hurt again.
Why? Tell us.
Because I feel like when you make a decision based off of I don't want to get hurt again, you're so closed off to other opportunities or somebody being the person that doesn't hurt you. And nobody wants to get hurt.
Right.
Like nobody gets into a relationship like, oh yeah, hurt me. But it's just like
it happens.
You can't make it. That's like making a decision based out of fear when you typically been told all your life to not make decisions based out of fear. You tell our children or our younger generation like, be brave, don't make decisions out of fear. But when we make decisions with our heart, we typically choose it out of fear. And I believe that vulnerability is a strength. So be more vulnerable. And we've all made it this far, and we've all been hurt once or twice, if not more,
by somebody.
Yeah. So like, I don't want to be hurt, but I'm open to it if that's a part of my journey to get me to where I need to be and to who I need to be with.
I feel like I don't like being vulnerable. I'm gonna just
the
say
strength and vulnerability.
Really?
Yes.
That's the first time I've heard that, but I really also like that saying because there are moments where I have been vulnerable and I've worked through some like healing. It was healing for me, but at the same time, there's a judging, there's people who just, talk and have stuff. That's why I personally don't really like being vulnerable. But in relationships, that's essentially what you're doing.
That's what you're doing every day. Like especially again when we talked about submitting and all those things, you're leaning on somebody else to pick up where you fall short. That is vulnerability. Like, because if it wasn't for that, I would be trying to carry all the groceries to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's me.
But it's like, hey, I'm gonna leave these in the car for you. Hey, can you grab this on your way in? Hey, we'll be eating tonight. Those are all still very small situations, but vulnerable situations where we depend upon or we rely on somebody else to do for us. That's vulnerability a little bit.
And you're not making all the decisions.
No, and it's not all the time. It's just like, that's partnership. We work in tandem. So again, I don't subscribe to that. Like, I don't want to be hurt again. Like, no, nobody does.
Yeah.
But it happens, and so you just have to learn how to move on from it. And yes, it hurts. Sometimes it takes longer than other times to heal, but
yeah,
you have to go through it. You have to learn from it. So
that's a good point. Pin that it takes sometimes it took a long time for you to heal or get over that situation. Yeah. So in all fairness, do you understand why people would not want to keep?
I understand it, but it's just like, I kind of look back too and recognize that, and I realized one situation, it took me, I don't know.
A while. It took me
and I didn't even realize it until after. Like, it took me like 4 years to get over a situation.
See what I'm saying? Who has time for another potentially?
But it's just like, I think it's kind of like you kind of get, you don't want to get accustomed to dealing with stuff like that, but you kind of get better with dealing with stuff like that because you kind of start to, you don't allow certain situations to get to the point of how they can hurt you that deeply anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
so you learn from it.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, that hurt me for 4 years, but I can pick up on, not sure where I went wrong, but where I neglected to pay attention to the red flags. Right?
Yeah.
So now it's just like, okay, I know where my green flags are, or I got an idea, but at minimum, I know for sure. Like, I know goddamn well what my red flags are.
Yeah.
So when I start to see them and consistently see them, and I see people not work to change them or address them, then I know how to exit the situation way before I'm that deeply invested. So I feel like, as you continue to grow through it and go through more, hopefully not, but if you go through more situations that kind of sting or hurt, it won't take you as long to bounce back.
You'll learn from it is what I'm hearing. And it sounds like it definitely makes you stronger.
Yes.
So I hear why you're like,
every time you fall down, you get up stronger. So, it's just the same thing with relationships in your heart. It's just the same concept. I think it applies to both.
I do too. I think when you put it like that, it's 100% spot on. I've definitely bounced back and been like, I feel like I've gotten some strength from some of the I've been through. You know what I'm saying? But again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
But I don't think you will, because you know how to be like, okay, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I require. These are my non-negotiables.
I hear you.
If that person don't meet that, then you know how to be like, okay. And it's not about I don't want to get hurt again. It's about
it's not working.
You're not giving me what I need or what I require, what I want. So I'm a step.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say with that is, I'm learning right now that even if it's not working out with that person or that situation, you don't have to leave on a bad note or F you note. We can be cool. We can be friends. And honestly, at first I used to be like, it does nothing for me. No, go to hell. I don't care. But at the end of the day, it does do something to my soul. So I just feel like leaving whatever situation on a positive note, it just makes you a better person.
Yeah, ain't no point in walking around here with enemies.
Yeah, I don't want no enemies.
It didn't work out.
All right, so
see you when I see you.
Wish you well. Yeah.
Or some people are better as friends, possibly.
I respect it. So, do you ever feel like there's somebody that's more invested in the relationship? For example, there's someone that always loves more, or not always, but typically loves the other person more, your significant other. Sometimes it looks like a female.
I think.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to say always, because there are exceptions.
Yeah.
But I think more times than not, there's typically someone who loves more, is more invested in their partner. It doesn't mean their partner doesn't appreciate it or reciprocate it, but it's just like some people are just. I'm one of those people, so I'm a hopeless romantic. So typically, I feel like I'm the person I dove in head first all the time, and the other person is probably more reserved and I'm much more of a logical thinker in every aspect except for the heart and relationships.
Why am I the same way?
So
yes,
speaking from personal experience and personal belief, I think there is typically like always that one person because you just have those people who just
jump full force.
Naturally yearn for it and yearn to give it, receive it, and I've learned just in conversation that that's not a normal. I won't say normal is a bad thing, but it's not a universal thing that people do. It's like there's certain people that's just their role.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like I agree with you. I feel like I'm usually the one more like once I'm locked in.
Yeah.
We locked in, and I definitely will be like, I love you, and I don't try and be annoying, but I definitely show a lot of love. But I also feel like opposites attract. So maybe it's just the other person that I have been with is super like chill, but that doesn't mean they don't have the same amount of love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like our communication styles are just a little different because opposites attract, and it doesn't mean less love on the other end. It just means they have a different way of showing it.
Yeah, I mean, because we talked about love languages, so people have different love languages, and it's just kind of like, are you okay with dealing with somebody's love language if it differs from yours, and are they willing or able to pour into love you the way you need to be loved and vice versa? So it's just like
that's tough because I feel like I have dated in the past and like had a full-fledged relationship with somebody who's super just like chill, and would you say I'm chill? I don't even want to ask you. I'm kind of chill, but I'm also like I do a lot of communication. So my other significant other ex, whatever, wasn't that big of a communicator, but it wasn't like there was less love. It was just I was different in that aspect. But I did realize that was something I had to work through. It was tough. So I do feel like opposites attract, but you do have to kind of line up with.
It has to be some level of like compromise.
Middle ground, yeah.
Yeah, definitely gotta meet in the middle somewhere. Because
right.
I can't expect you to love me the way I want to be loved all the time, and not reciprocate to meet you halfway to love you the way you want to be loved, even if it goes against like, how I naturally would do things. If you're the person that I choose to be with, and I understand that this is what she needs to make her feel better, or whatever the case may be, like I gotta bring something.
I gotta give you my mic just so make sure the people in the back can hear this.
Like, and again, like I said, it kind of pours back into submission. But if you're gonna require a woman to submit, you gotta be
willing to treat your significant other right. It's not always about I feel like I don't like doing that, so I'm not gonna do that. I mean, when
I was younger, I used to be that way. Like, no, it's just not me, or I am who I am, and it's just like,
okay,
I gotta change at some point. I can't be, the 21-year-old version of myself forever. So
we gotta compromise somewhere.
Yes,
people. We really do.
Yes.
So I love that stance. I love the way you put that. And so enough relationship talk. And I feel like we've gotten somewhere with that. Hopefully. Help somebody or you can relate in some kind of way.
I think we all going through it in some point or have been through it at some point. So yeah.
Literally, like this generation of dating, like you said, has a lot of piss in the pool.
A lot of piss in the pool.
So we're all going through it.
A little poo poo too.
Yeah. Right? It's just not good. So switching gears a little bit, I wanted to discuss BBLs, Brazilian butt lifts, not to be confused with BBM, because I did pick this title. It just is an attention grabber, but it has a lot to do, I won't even lie, about BBLs. Because in this generation, we talk about this generation, a lot of people, I want to say it started when I used to watch the show, Real Housewives of Orange County, the first ever show whatever. They used to get fake boobs and fake lips and whatever, and he was rewarding people. But now, no shade, but now it's just like this whole thing of, I just need a fake ass. Everyone's getting a fake ass, a fake booty, a Brazilian butt lift, people, BBLs. And I actually know, I can count on my one hand of how many people I personally know who have gotten a BBL. That's the butt surgery, for those of you listening and watching who don't know exactly what BBL is. What do you feel? What do you think about that? Would you ever, let me ask you this, would you ever date somebody who's had a BBL? Because I'm all natural over here. Ain't no BBL, just BBL.
I wouldn't discriminate against somebody who had one.
No discrimination.
My preference would, I mean, I don't even.
You would date somebody with a fake
I
ass.
would.
Don't lie.
I don't want it to look fake. So I don't want to look at you like, oh, that junk, that's not
It
real.
don't look
That's
good.
Not, no,
It
yeah,
don't look
like
natural.
my big, like the hip, the thigh to ass proportion ratio has to match.
Respect.
I think if it does that, like, I'm okay with it. Because everybody has their own reasons for why they may do it. My preference would be, a little natural jiggle and stuff like that. But
Yeah, it's got to move.
yeah,
Gotta-
it has
got
to
a little
move.
jelly.
I gotta shake.
You know what I'm
So
saying? Shake
whatever
something.
y'all gotta do to make it shake, then
So you're saying you would not discriminate. You would be
No.
open-minded. What?
because the face is the first. The face card gotta be valid for me. So
Come on, face card.
it starts with that, and then we get to
The body.
yeah. I'm not one of those guys that'll just like, oh, her butt makes her look so much better. No, it's just a nice ass, but the face gotta be there.
Do you feel like, and this is nothing, no judgment, because again, I literally know I have someone in my family who's had a BBL, so this is no shade to anybody, for real. But do you feel like that means that they're living a certain type of lifestyle when they want to get a fake booty, or is it like they're seeking some validation, or they're just feeding into what's in the times right now? I saw a clip. There was lines of girls in wheelchairs in Miami because they're just flying out. What do you think?
I think it's a varying it's varying reasons as to why I think women, and I mean I've seen some guys.
I definitely know men. Yes, men have gotten their ass done.
I think they have everybody has their everybody has their own reasons. Some people just want women want a bigger butt, for whatever their reasons are.
They want to be like black women.
Or they think men are more attracted to it, whatever it could be. Some people just aren't satisfied with themselves, want to make a few changes. Some people are, want to, be a part of a different type of life or have a different type of look. Or again, I think everybody has their own reasons, so it's just it's hard to pinpoint one.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're all about if you're doing it for you, I'm okay with that.
Right.
But if you're doing it to
Please.
Get more followers or shit like that. And I get it though, because some people it impacts your business. I get it, but
Okay.
I just prefer a more genuine person through and through if possible.
I like the natural tip. However, I do feel like if this is something that is an area of insecurity for anybody,
Right, yeah.
and you got the money, you got the resources, do whatever makes your soul smile.
Whatever makes you happy.
I'm all for that. Like, I'm not here to be like, why you gotta be? I don't care. It's not my body. So, do you? I do feel like it has gotten more popular through social media.
More popular, I think more people have figured out a way to afford it.
Yeah, I feel like they're running their credit.
So, and then
How are they
more
doing
people, I don't know, because I know they cost like at least 10 stacks. So, I mean, if you got
10
it,
stacks?
I think. I wouldn't know.
I don't know
I
either.
don't research these things, but, I think people have figured out a way that it's more affordable, so they fly to Miami.
Fly to Dr. Miami. I'm with it. Or some people have the baby thing. They have a baby and then take some of their natural, the actual extra baby fat and put it in their booty. So I don't even know if it's considered like fake butts. It's just your own fat repositioned or whatever.
Whatever works for everybody,
Whatever works.
I like women of all sizes.
All sizes,
As
shades.
long as the face card is valid.
Face card can't not decline.
No.
All right. The other thing is just it's popular. It's popular. It's a sensitive subject for some. Some do it for various reasons. Mm-hmm. It's not always linked to, oh, I feel insecure, or maybe you just have the bread, you have the money, and that's your lifestyle.
And I think, more importantly, I don't think it's always attributed to validation from a man.
So there's that. I feel like there's
some people want ass, you know.
Some women do it for their man.
Some women do, but
some women just want ass.
Some women just want ass. So, you know, I get it.
I don't understand that, but I also don't want to speak too much on that because I was just blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I never have envisioned myself.
I never had those problems.
I haven't had those problems, but I also have never envisioned myself sitting under a knife, going through the healing stages and doing all that stuff. It's not easy. For
it's worth it to some.
You think so?
To some.
It's worth it?
I mean, I know there's probably like, it's probably a few things that, you know, I would want to change. I'm not going to pay for it. So, you know.
So if somebody said, I got you, what would you do?
I mean, because working out is hard. So trying to lose weight.
You have to get the six pack?
No, I won't want the fake because you could tell those are fake. Like,
you think so?
Some of them you could tell like those look stapled on or whatever.
I saw a really good one of a man. He got the six pack thing. I believed it.
I mean,
I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. If it, you know, I can deal with some pain if that's the end result. And if it, you know, a little cheat sheet.
I won't say I've never envisioned myself going on a knife because after I had a child, after I had Gigi, I was definitely like, oh, I could get my boots done. I just want them to be right back where they used to be, you know? But in Drake's song, he said he let her where they hang, babe, so I'm going to just let them hang. It's like, nah, they're not hanging. But the point is...
The disclaimer, they're not hanging.
They're not hanging yet, but I wouldn't mind a bigger set. And I feel like that's something I would be open to. I don't know. But I'm not like, oh my God, I need this in my life. So I feel like to each his own. Again, there's somebody at my job and my previous jobs I have had fake booties. Now, one of them, it did not, the ratio was off, like you said. And it was just like,
you can't, they be having like, yeah.
And then there's one chick I know, it looks really good. And I'm like, oh, damn. But you know it's not hers. So.
Because you knew her before.
Exactly.
But if you didn't know her before, you
wouldn't be
know.
able to tell right now. And I'm like, okay, shout out to you. So, to each his own. But yeah, that brings me to my girl. Because Beyonce is not somebody who has ever had, I feel like, any booty enhancements. I don't know about breast augmentation or nothing like that. Yeah, but I don't think she's had her ass done. And I want to talk about Beyonce, of course.
All women love, well, most women love Beyonce.
If you know me, you know I have loved Beyonce to the point of like obsession. I've paid for the tickets over 400. Yeah, seen her live. You got to pay big brag to see Beyonce, so you got to be dedicated.
If you haven't, I recommend seeing her in person.
100%. Yeah. See, even if you want to shade Beyonce, you cannot.
You gotta see it.
You gotta see her perform. She's one of the best performers
ever. Yes,
ever.
I have to agree.
Thank you. So her new album just came out, Renaissance. We was talking about this off camera. You haven't really listened to the whole.
No, I haven't dissected it.
You heard that Beyonce. It's like
that. Like I downloaded it, like well, it was already queued up to be downloaded, at midnight or whatever.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was just. I gotta try it again.
I feel like I cannot stop playing it. And that's not just because I'm a Beyonce fan. Maybe it is. I don't know.
A little bit.
It's a little biased, but it's fine. I also realized that she's speaking to, I feel like totally different audience, and she's targeting everyone on this album, which I can respect. I really like when people aren't just gearing towards certain groups. And it's just everybody, I feel like has a play and a hand in this album. And it's also super, is it retro or just the beats are
I feel like, from what I heard, so old school, but then it's it's a few Afrobeat.
Afrobeat or something like that.
Reggaeton kind of influences in there from the few songs I heard.
Mm-hmm. A lot of influential songs.
So it's definitely current as far as, that's the new trend as far as with most music, because Drake did basically a whole Afrobeats album. So
now that's a different story, because I feel like that album literally it's the same beat on it, and I love me some Drake. So
with her album, I gotta listen to it again, and then I honestly just think too, it's not even I don't want to say it's bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't I just think also too, I'm in the again, back to Soul Surgery, but I'm in like a different place.
Okay.
So like it's just kind of not the music I'm ready to listen to right now. Like I'm not in that vibe a lot.
Okay.
So I'm much more of a person, like when I listen to music, it has to connect like with what I'm going through, with what I'm feeling. So I think that's kind of the part of it too. It's just like I'm really not in the mood to hear it.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of like, I'm not there, you know what I mean?
All right, I hear you.
So it might change.
It
And
will
when I listen
definitely
to it
change.
again, I
Yeah.
might be like, oh shit, this is a bop, you know? But
It's definitely a vibe.
right now, it was just kind of, and then my godson was in the car, so maybe he was talking, I don't know.
You got to be able to hear it for real,
Yeah.
for real. And I feel like also, it's just a feel-good album. I feel like it's genuinely like something that you listen to and you just feel
I get that
so
vibe
much
from
better.
it though. Yeah, it's not your traditional R&B album.
No.
And not even your traditional Beyonce album.
Very different.
So I did get that vibe and pick that up. And I guess too that a lot of times with artists that kind of happens where you're expecting like the same thing because you fell in love with her for whatever it was that you loved about her.
Her genre.
And so some people get, and that happens to me too at times. Like you get stuck on like I want to hear goddamn, you know,
the same type of music.
same type of Beyonce songs all the time.
But growth, we can't have a
and she's
little
in a
growth.
different place. Yeah, you can. So that's what I'm saying. I get it. It's just like I said, I know I can definitely identify that I'm just not in that upbeat mood all the time. So like I really don't want to hear it. Like I want to hear something that like I'm still
Kinda
on
like
Kendrick
chill.
like a little bit because he's talking about like some personal like dark stuff and that's kind of stuff I've been processing too. So it's like that's kind of where I am.
Let's get you out of the dark zone, please, a little bit.
I
I
mean-
love me some Kendrick.
And again, vulnerability is strength. So like it's tapping
I hear
into
you.
that and just trying to. A lot of times, music is therapeutic for me because people say what I'm feeling, but I couldn't put words to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I've been lately. So that's the only reason I think also too why I'm not like, oh my God, Beyonce's song came out.
I was pressed, but I also respect what you're saying because you have to be in that zone, that mindset to really hear and receive. I feel like her messages. But one thing about Beyonce that I feel like is similar to Kendrick a little bit, and they even had a song performances and everything. Is she's very pro-black, like pridefully black, and so is Kendrick Lamar. Like, yeah. And so I feel like we connect in that way. That's why I love Beyonce, wife, mother, all these things. But I hear you. You kind of gotta be in the mindset to hear and listen to her music. But I do want to know, like, I don't understand the Renaissance title. Why do you think she named it Renaissance? Like, what does that even represent? I don't know. I don't know either. Questions that need answers.
I mean, I need to look up what Renaissance
I was about to
means.
say, I don't even know what Renaissance actually, the word itself means, but we can look that up really quick.
That might help us create
some context.
help us create an opinion on why she might have.
I don't know.
If not, I'll just call her later and find out.
The Renaissance is a period in European history making the transition from the Middle Ages to modernity, something, you know that word, and covering the 15th and 16th centuries, characterized by an effort to revive and surpass ideas, achievements, in classical antiquity.
I can't see that far, but so I mean, given that, like, even he's a Renaissance man or whatever the case may be, I think, you know, kind of from the lyrics and the verbiage that she uses in the song is much more of an uplifting, like you said, and prideful. I do hear that a lot in her songs, like black mom, strong woman, this and that. And then I think just, I don't know, I'm reaching here, but then adding it to the modern style of music.
Yes.
The Afrocentric, the Afro beats, and then the different EDMs and stuff like that. So just kind of bringing that feel-good music, because typically, historically, black music used to always be like, you know, blues and sad, and
Back in the day, yeah.
so bringing that uplifting, or even just telling stories in a more modern way, maybe, I don't know.
No, I think you're definitely spot on, because the key word to me is like transition for her. Definitely, like you said, is you're used to hearing certain styles of music from Beyonce, and this is definitely a different vibe. So the transition maybe to the modern,
And it's kind of like, and
generation or
even Jay-Z
culture.
kind of went through this. It's just like, you know, she's been doing it for so long. Like,
What else can she?
what else do you have to talk about? Like, what other stories do you have to tell a little bit, you know, as far as, because when a lot of musicians, they tell a story of what it took them to get to that point. And then it's like, now when you live in this good life, she's been living for, as far as financially, it's what we know, pretty long time.
For a very long
I heard in the joint, she did say, like, I was one lyric, like, her kids don't got it. Like, they rich or something like that.
That was in her Past Year album, like her great-grandchildren.
Yeah, so it's just like,
that.
she said they're getting one of these other songs too, but, so it's just kind of like, you're more of in a somewhat braggadocious stage of your life, like they are. Like,
I mean, Jay-Z definitely had a whole album where he was bragging a little bit.
So it's kind of like, I don't expect her stuff to sound the same because she still has to appeal to an audience. So,
I feel like she used to be very like cautious in her lyrics, and this album is definitely like, I'm gonna talk my shit because
there's been a change in her the last 2-3 albums.
Definitely.
I love it when she curses.
Yeah, the delivery is different, or when she drops nigga, this nigga. First of all, she's from Houston, Texas. To think that Beyonce was not talking like this behind the scenes is cute. But now it's just like, okay, this is really who she is. And she's not afraid.
Y'all gonna buy it. Y'all gonna stream it regardless. Y'all gonna buy it regardless. Y'all gonna sing it regardless. So
it's a bop.
Talk your shit.
Period. I love it. So yes, as always, though, we're gonna wrap things up. I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Having me again.
It's always just a natural, just like flow with you. It's easy. It's
super
easy. Yeah.
I try.
It's effortless. And so, thank you. And y'all, please, everyone listening and watching, always remember to let me know your thoughts, grow with me, glow with me on this journey, and remember to subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and definitely on YouTube.
All them platforms.
All of that, okay? And let me know, if you want to hear any special topics, like, comment, share, all that jazz. And so until next time, people,